contact secondsaturdaywoodlands.com or call 832-375-0900.
Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Hey, this is Skippy from Mornings with Lone Star with Dick and Skippy. You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZWLP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Toast of the Town with Christy and Mel. It is Hump Hour of Hump Day.
It is, of spring break.
And hey, it's Hump part of the month, too. We're on the 16th.
Oh, that's right. No wonder I'm all discombobulated.
I know. It's excellent.
Our humps. But it is a lovely day in downtown Conroe. I don't know if anybody else is enjoying the day.
My toes aren't even cold.
I know. Well, I went with a little bit of long sleeve, with everything going on. I dressed in my Ukrainian colors today. So, it was felt necessary. I was watching the news before I left, and we'll get into all that later. But it was just, I don't know. We witness history every day, but we're really watching something very interesting that's going on in the world today.
Well,
so
interesting and frustratingly angering and so sad.
And heartbreaking, very heartbreaking.
Sad.
So we'll get to that stuff in a minute, but we have two wonderful guests with us today. I want to go ahead and go into this because we always cover events that are coming up. We always cover great things that are going on, but our guests here today overlap everything. So if you'll please welcome Miss Marcey and Miss Kelly with us from VFW Post 4709. Y'all, first of all, I just want to say this to y'all and as representatives of your post. Number one, thank you so much for your service to our country, to our community, to our veteran community, to everything that y'all do. Y'all serve everywhere. And is it true that y'all are the largest post in the country?
Not anymore. Yeah.
We gotta fix that.
Close. We are close. We're the biggest one in our district.
Right.
So
there's over 29,000 veterans in Conroe. In Montgomery County.
29,000.
29,307 as of 2019.
Wow.
And think about how much we've grown since 2019. We're waiting on the new report to come out.
That is really astonishing. I had no idea that the number would be that high.
We have 3 posts in Montgomery County, and we're about to open a 4th in Magnolia, which is super cool, so that we can help serve those veterans better and help represent the community that they're in.
Yeah. Well, and
are so spread out.
Yeah. Well, and Montgomery County is so huge.
Yes.
To be able to give veterans that may not have really reliable transportation or be able to drive themselves, give them the ability to go and have that support is so vital.
Right.
So for anybody that's listening that may not know exactly kind of what y'all do, give us an overview of the services that y'all provide our veteran community.
You got the list there.
You got the list.
So what we do to serve our community is we make sure that through our charitable programs like charitable bingo and things like that, any of our fundraising, we support other nonprofits and other people in need. Whether a veteran, we had one whose well froze during February of last year.
Yes.
So we paid their entire insurance deductible because they couldn't afford it. Things like that, making sure that we are taking care of the veterans in our community, their families, their widows and children. We find it to be a mission that we're able to take care of through our charitable contributions that people send us. So it's just a really heartwarming mission that we have to take care of everyone. So passionate about it.
Yeah. Well, so growing up in Conroe, we always heard the VFW. If it was happening, it was happening at the VFW hall.
Sure.
But I don't have my immediate family has no veterans in it, so it wasn't someplace that I hung out. So how is it that the entire community gets involved in the VFW Hall? Tell me how that works.
Aside from our veterans themselves, we've also got the family members of the veterans that are part of our auxiliary.
Right.
So that stretches us out throughout the whole community, and we get involved. We try to get involved with as much as possible in the events that are going on in the community, and to help support those events.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you about. Is the events, which I saw on Facebook, which I knew was coming up, but the St. Patrick's Day cook-off.
Ah, yes.
Yes. It was so good.
I bet. The weather was great.
Well, there were some things that did not taste good.
There's always that part of it, but yeah, it went really well. It went really well.
Well, and I think another thing that y'all do so well with these events is y'all connect the general public with our veteran population.
Right.
too.
Yes.
And that was what I was trying to get at,
Yes.
is that it's
Like,
amazing.
Our July 4th picnic in the park was such, it was wonderful. We had a huge turnout.
did.
We were able to get a lot of the community involved to help us out. There were, Pepsi, HEB, ton of places that were like, what can we help with? And that's amazing.
That
because,
is.
It's hard to kind of, take care of everything.
Yeah.
But that one and Trunk or Treat seem to be the big ones that get the community out. We started with 150 kids at
Yes.
Trunk or Treat.
Yes.
And we had how many this year?
It was almost 300.
It was we
Wow.
had
We almost doubled.
we
I
had
don't know
300
exactly, but-
toothbrushes and stuff. Well, we
And
had
those
candy
were
too,
gone.
not
Yeah.
just toothbrushes. But we went
Hey, both ends of the spectrum, both equally important.
you got to
But we
think
were
about
excited
self
about
care.
it.
Absolutely, you
We
do.
were excited about that. That it brought so many people in, the kids and
awesome.
families, and just brought recognition to the VFW as well. Just getting
Right.
them in there so they know
Right.
that we're there to support them and help them as well.
And so, what is that ability? And there's so many different layers to this. And knowing you guys for so long, what does that mean to the veteran community to see just the general public wanting to come out, interact, listen to their stories, show support and love? What does that mean to your guys and ladies that that we know? So many of them that are still suffering with so much in the community, but to know they have that kind of support.
I think the veterans really appreciate that, because a lot of them, like the Vietnam veterans, they didn't have that support
Yeah.
back then. The communities in the United States, didn't support them when they came
Yeah.
home. So it's huge among the veteran community.
And to have the community be involved with us helps us. The congressional charter says we have to be historical, educational, and patriotic. It's not just inside the VFW that you do that. So we have youth programs, we have, we help with nursing homes and things like that. And I think that whenever people come in and support us, it's one of those things where it was an honor to serve. And I think whenever you see that commitment from the community to support you
The appreciation.
and appreciate you, it makes things worth it. It makes, when you're having a hard time, whenever days are rough or whatever, and you have that kind of support, it really is heartwarming to have that, and makes things a lot easier on
It
you.
kind of completes the circle too.
Right.
Brings everybody
Yeah.
together.
Right.
Well, and like I said, y'all continue to serve the community in more ways than just your veteran community. I know, in 2017, when Harvey hit, you guys, I'm not even going to say you opened your doors. You threw open the doors and rolled out the red carpet. For,
You were big on that.
And for Friends of Conroe to come in, and y'all gave us that opportunity, that place, the support, volunteers, everything. And it was, not even a moment's hesitation.
Yeah.
And I know that the willingness and ability to serve is ingrained in you, but as someone who, again, knew of the VFW Post and went to events there and did things like that, it gave me a totally different understanding and appreciation for how the multitude of ways that y'all service this community, because it's not limited to really just our veterans here. Y'all really just serve everybody in Montgomery County.
Yes.
Right.
And sharing that history and knowledge. I know I was there for y'all's 9/11 commemoration and tribute, and to see so many that still are suffering from the repercussions of that. You know, so many of us still have those visions ingrained in our heads, but the celebration that was there too was pretty spectacular. And the fact that y'all go that route, and you know, yes, it was, you know, a terrible day in history, but look at these amazing people that have these stories to tell and what it did for us as a country.
Yep.
It's really important to us. We have one member, his name's Ralph, and his brother-in-law was a POW. So he was in the Hanoi Hilton and in the very last group to leave. So he came in and spoke for POW MIA Day. We have a man named Arbin Haziri that Joe from Joe's Italian hooked us up with, who is a refugee from Kosovo that's coming in to speak tonight at 6:30.
6:30.
Come on down.
I know. So
We'll be live too, so.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too, because y'all put everything where it's on social media. So if you can't come out, you can still participate and be a part of it.
100%.
So I shared the event earlier, and I want to encourage everyone to come out.
Thank you.
What makes this story so pertinent to right now?
Oh. It's really close to home for them over
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Too close for
It
them.
is.
So.
It's kind of, to me, it's kind of like how when we did what we did with Afghanistan, the Vietnam vets had already gone through that and they supported each other. It was neat to see that support and that camaraderie just come together really organically. And I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the Kosovo refugees are a comfort. They have an opportunity to share what they've been through so that the people of Ukraine, because there are lots of refugees, you know, they
so
have
many,
someone
yeah.
they can turn to who's been there. They've walked in those shoes. And so if you can give somebody a perspective that's so personal,
Right.
then it really changes things.
Well, and I think for the general public too, to be able to really kind of have a real first-person account and understanding of what these Ukrainian refugees are going through right now. I mean, you know, one of the most poignant things that I've heard through this whole thing on the news was, you know, on February 23rd, all these folks were living very real, normal first world type lives.
Yeah.
They went to work, went to school, and, you know, had their after school activities and their responsibilities in their community and everything. And then all of a sudden this happens. And I think having that account is so important. We have a new friend, Colonel Jack Summers, Oscar Summers. I don't know if you know him. But he is a veteran from Kosovo. And whenever he saw the event, I know from that perspective, said there's no way in the world I would miss it, because to share that kind of experience, even though kind of on both ends of the spectrum, is so important to really tell the whole
I
story.
have chills a little bit. That's super cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's coming. That's
Yeah.
really neat, because you do have to honor the people that have been through it, and really make sure that you continue that. We don't want history to repeat itself,
Right.
and so we have to continue the education side of it. And I think you can really do that from a first person account.
Yeah.
Because I could stand up there and read something off a piece of paper all day long,
But it's not the
You're not.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not the
Exactly.
same.
So that starts at 6:30 tonight. It's
Yes.
at your VFW Post, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it in the big room?
It is in the hall.
The big.
Yes.
It's like every time I walk in that room, I'm like, oh,
The community.
spend
hall.
lots of time here.
Yeah.
Spend lots of time
I
here.
like this point of distribution.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, no, I never want to go
Well,
out there again.
making
We're
eggs in
talking
a
about that.
giant bucket.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Exactly. Sandwiches, eggs. The eggs.
How
thing
much
is still
peanut
my
butter
best.
can you
Oh,
put
my
like,
God.
all the way down the
How many
line?
eggs can you scramble in a 5-gallon bucket with a
Yes.
drill bit?
Yeah.
A lot. But really,
Memories.
so if you're listening tonight, make sure, if you can't come in person, make sure you're tuning in, and y'all do it on your Facebook Live.
Yes, ma'am.
So, and I recommend everybody just like and follow y'all's page anyway, because there's so
Yes.
much information. Y'all are so active. How do you keep up?
Kind of exhausting.
It really
In a
is.
good way.
But we've got multiple people that are taking
Yeah.
care of the Facebook
Yeah.
page and
Yeah.
stuff, so we're pinging
Oh,
off of
that's
each
good,
other to
yeah.
remind each other to do things and keep
Yeah.
up with it.
Well, and y'all have taken such a leadership role in so many ways. And y'all really have helped, I think, become, and I don't want this to come across as offensive to anybody, but the voice for our veteran community, as far as being seen and being present and making the rounds and building those relationships and everything. So, from my perspective, I think it's a wonderful thing to see, and I can't imagine two prettier faces to be representing our veteran community. So, what challenges are y'all seeing right now from your post for your veteran community? You know, people want to get involved and support you guys.
I mean, we've done in the last couple of years, I think, you know, even since the last time we've talked to you guys, we've gotten out into the community a little bit more and gotten our face out there and been recognized a little bit more. Marcey here, she does an amazing job with that. She's involved in everything. So it's
Thank you.
much appreciated on that end of it.
Her fur missile, which I
gonna-
saw
yes,
referred
yes.
to on y'all's website, and I was like, that is so precious.
You know,
Yes.
it's funny because people know me as Beignet's mom. Like, if they don't know my name, it's Beignet and that lady.
And that lady.
Yes.
That lady.
But yeah, it's been the last couple of years since I've been commander, we've made a huge difference in getting out in the community a bit more. That was like one of our goals, is to get involved more and get our faces out there and be recognized a little bit more, to know that, you know, we are an organization that can help.
Right. As far as challenges that you asked about, it's hard for us to ask for money.
I know.
Like,
Yeah,
that's super hard.
But money but
But
it's needed.
if you don't ask, the answer's no.
Absolutely.
And so fundraising is probably a big one for us as far as challenges go. We don't. A lot of people have the misconception that because we're congressionally chartered, we get federal funds, and I'm always
Wouldn't that
like,
be nice?
We get nothing.
yeah. And because we're a 501c19, which designates us as a veterans nonprofit, we can't even apply for grants.
Right.
Because they're
I
all
had no idea.
501c3. Amazon Smile won't let us on it because 501c3s
Oh,
only.
we need to get that changed.
So-
That's terrible.
Well,
Exactly.
we can't change our status because of the fact that we're a membership for veterans.
We just
so
need to get the IRS to
we-
make some
yes.
legislative changes.
Yes, so I mean, if we could even grants, whoever's giving the grant, if they could change it to allow
So
On
Amazon
their
could allow
Yes.
for 501c3s
Correct.
and
And 19.
Yeah, so they
Or
just need to
19s.
address that
Yes.
on
Right.
their end, so that
Yes.
it's more open to veterans organizations, the 501c3 19.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say this is probably something we should talk about later, and I should talk to my partner first. But have you guys ever considered partnering like gratis, where it would be? I mean, we would do it for VFW, partnering with somebody to really put the word out. Maybe just one event a year, you know, something that not your big one that automatically draws a crowd, okay, but one of your smaller ones, and call us and say, hey, we need help on this event. How can you help us? And we'll tell you, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this, and I think when we tell you everything that we can do, there's some of the things you'll pick up on your own and do for yourself on other events.
Sure.
But I know Christy wouldn't be opposed to us saying something, and we'll talk about it more.
Yeah.
But
That would
seriously,
be amazing.
you guys.
We'd be very grateful.
And I was off on a totally different angle.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Which was, why in the world would they put a designation on our veterans organizations that actually hinder you and hinder you beyond other nonprofits?
Got an answer to that.
I was fired up.
Yeah.
So, a 501c19 as a veterans group, they have the misconception on our part, and some of them do this, but they have a misconception that you're going to lobby Congress for something that may be
Right.
opposed to,
Okay,
you
yeah.
might be on a political angle.
Okay.
We do have legislative goals every year
course,
that we
as you
work
should,
on.
as you should.
I mean, even on the city level, you know, we have goals that if there's something affecting our area, then we would lobby to
Right.
the
Of
city
course.
council. So it's one of those weird things that if you do that, they don't want to get involved. But I see threes do that kind of
Right,
stuff
that's
too,
what I was
and
gonna
I'm
say.
like, it's the
Very
same
much
difference.
so.
Yes.
Very
So,
much so.
like
Interesting.
a lot of threes get very involved in lobbies.
And we have to be careful as the VFW Post. Like, we've had our political mix and mingle, but we can't endorse. And
No.
we have to get that across, that we can't be in photos for
Right.
certain things.
Yes.
So
But y'all do get involved in the political scene, because obviously our elected officials are very
Yes.
important to you guys.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I think in a lot of ways, our membership sometimes doesn't take an active role in who stands for veterans
Right.
issues.
Right.
Who am I? Sometimes it's like, oh, I recognize that name on the ballot.
But what do they support
right,
for us?
Exactly.
as
So if I
veterans?
can get them to get
Engage.
involved, come to those events and talk one-on-one with whoever they're looking at on their sample ballot, then they have the opportunity to go, whoa, that is not who I thought it was, and instead switch it up, talk to somebody else, and yeah, that's my guy, or yeah, that's my chick.
Well, I was at y'all's the event that y'all had where y'all invited everyone,
Yes.
which I think is equally important that y'all. But I would think our veteran community also probably finds a greater sense of comfort. It's kind of like their home base, and they're meeting people kind of in their space,
Yes.
which gives them a little bit more comfort going
Right.
into it.
It's not as formal as it, some
Right.
things, so
Well-
they feel a little more comfortable.
And to me, this was another thing that Mel and I go to these political events, forums all the time, and for the most part, it's the same group of people
Yes.
at
Same
every event.
Yes.
Same speech, same audience members asking the same questions, throwing the
same-
same grenades.
Yes,
the
exactly.
Literally.
Incoming.
Yeah, exactly. The same speech it doesn't bother me as much as the same people being there.
Right.
The same speech, because they're going from place to place to place to
Right.
place. So that makes sense, because you think they're going to be different people, but there aren't.
Right.
And I don't understand it. I think, I'll say it again, I think all of the Republican women, of which I am one of, in several organizations, I think they should all get together and have one forum for all 8 organizations, and charge $2 to get in. Everybody will
Right.
pay, and then donate the money to VFW or to the women's shelter or to
Right.
whatever. The women's shelter would be great because they're Republican
Women.
Yes.
So
Yes.
anyway, I don't know,
Exactly.
just kind of
good
sounds,
thought.
and then
Yeah,
and the
and
different groups one could have the cookies, and one could have the water, and one
Yeah.
could have the building, and one could have the.
Look at
It
you,
just-
man.
just-
I like this
no,
brainstorm.
Listen, I've been saying this for two election cycles. It makes me crazy because
Yeah.
working with the candidates, we find out they've got to be here on this night, they're here on this
Yes.
night. Oh wait, but that was doing that, but they're just doing the judges then. That's at
Yes.
noon, and then they're doing this one, and they're.
And
It's
it's
crazy.
exhausting
Put 'em all
for
together in
them.
one place
I mean,
at one time.
they're missing their family. They're, because they're constantly on the road at another event. So if you can get like you're talking about, that's brilliant. I mean, but I don't know if it would ever happen. But and
Because everybody has to be the most important, and I'm
Right.
not being ugly. I want to be the most important in my world, which is very small, very small. Lucky y'all. Anyway, but everybody wants to be important, and everybody wants to make a show, and everybody thinks they're a marketing genius.
Of course.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
And for us, whenever we were looking at things, because we changed things up this year instead of our auction and forum, we did because. Did you look at the ballot? It was insane.
yes, it
and I was like, if we give everybody 3 minutes,
It's
you
going to be
can't.
well,
nuts.
we can't.
Yeah.
So
We'd be open up the next morning.
yes.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, and we thought about maybe we do a breakfast with the candidates, maybe we do, something along those lines. But I think it worked out pretty good.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah, we got a lot of good feedback from it.
Yeah.
So we'll
It
probably
was-
stick with this.
It was nice
Option.
because it was very comfortable. Like it was,
Yeah.
people just came, they were having personal interactions, and there were so many that showed up, which is very smart. But, candidate wise is what I meant. But to be able to have that place where they could go and have those conversations. And like
Right.
you said, okay, so I'm down to these 2 people. I'm going to go talk to them and see who kind of aligns with what
me.
I believe in
Yep.
and what our initiatives are
Right.
as a VFW post.
Because somebody can say all day long, well, I'm going to fix the VA. Well, how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
I mean, because
Right.
this is a lofty
Explain it,
goal you
yeah.
got.
Yeah. Nobody's done it.
Single-handedly, right. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out, please tell me, enlighten me. Because, when you sit and listen to some of them, you're just like,
Right.
please.
I know.
You know, that's smoke and mirrors at that point.
Right.
So it is important to talk to them
Yeah.
because those canned speeches and stuff
Oh,
does
yeah.
not get the message across.
Right.
Well,
Of course
and,
they don't.
And every candidate's going to come out and say, "I'm going to support our veterans,"
Right.
because what would you say otherwise?
Okay.
But it's how are you going to do that? What are
Right.
you going to do?
Well, and two, it depends on who says it. If you've got a guy that you've never seen before that stands up there in a suit, well groomed, and talks about his work in corporate world, okay, and then you have, I'm just going to use their names because they've just finished this. You have Houlihan and Luttrell stand up there and say, "I'm going to support veterans." Well, I don't know. Houlihan and Luttrell probably know how they're going to support veterans.
Sure.
And the guy who's from the corporate world probably doesn't. So, not that he can't be,
Cover this up so I can talk.
not that the guy from the corporate world can't support veterans, but
Right.
he needs to know how he's going to do it.
Absolutely, and
Okay.
get that point across
Exactly.
and explain
Make
it.
Exactly.
it just not rhetoric.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it
That's-
make sense.
Yeah, make it make sense.
Okay.
So, from that perspective, you know, what do y'all look for somebody that's going into leadership? You know, I mean, obviously you don't want them coming in with a bunch of empty promises and oh, you know, we know you're not going to fund us 100% of the year. I mean, as
Right.
great as that would be and honestly should be, but you know, what are the issues that as a group and I hate to do that because obviously you're made up of all kinds of different personalities and different initiatives and different beliefs, but as a collective group, what are there certain initiatives that y'all are really looking for?
So
Absolutely.
we have a giant pamphlet.
Imagine that. See?
Yeah, I'll post it on Facebook later.
On
Of-
VFW.org, if you go there, it lists
All of the
everything.
initiatives.
Everything.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
one of the big ones that they're looking for is alternative medications. Just allowing the VA to do alternative medications
Yes.
because the opioid crisis is
Ugh.
terrible. And when a lot of times whenever you come out of the military, you're used to soldier Tic Tacs, which are ibuprofen 800.
Right.
Keep taking them.
And then,
Yeah.
and then if that doesn't work, it's an opioid every
Yeah.
time. And they get to the point where, okay, well, I need that to function because my everything hurts
Yes.
from that last ruck march.
Right.
So that's a big issue that our legislative goals kind of covers is trying to get something different, you know, that can really help.
Yeah, well, you know, and I've heard stories, personal accounts from veterans that you know basically said, well, they kind of said, here's the door and here's some medicines, and that was it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, so obviously, and with the advancement that we've had in alternative medications and alternative health, I mean, it seems like a no-brainer.
Yes, 100%.
Right.
They did start doing piercings for migraines.
Migraines?
They just started doing that.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal. So
Wow, and that's
Yeah.
been around for
ever.
forever.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, since I was like in high school, and before that was a couple years ago. I mean, really,
I know.
just 2 or 3.
Because you just got out.
That's right. Just the other day.
I mean,
never
they-
mind the 16-year-olds that I have at home. But,
exactly.
You know, whatever.
Never mind my 21-year-old.
yeah.
Everyone's like, what?
I know.
Like
You
I
just don't-
started young.
I know, but you still don't even. It doesn't even seem possible that
Yeah.
you'd have a 21-year-old.
Well, one of the things people don't realize the VFW does is POW and MIA recovery.
Yes.
So we are very big in going to partnering with other countries and partnering with other groups that go out and recover
Our missing
all of our
soldiers.
missing. And that's a huge one because we always say no one left behind.
Right.
And all these people are left behind. There's a ton of still missing.
That are still missing.
MIAs.
And, and that's something I would say, like in the last couple of years, it seems like there have been more that are being
Yes.
recovered and identified.
Yeah.
And I'm sure advances in technology also assist that. But do y'all fund that? Do y'all actively participate? How do you
A
work with
little
that?
bit of both. So our legislative team meets with those partner countries to say, hey, can we go in there? Can we work with
Wow.
this other group that helps recovery? And so we partner up with them and get permission from those countries to go in and search.
So,
Wow. Yeah, and that's an initiative that I didn't know about. I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. There's over 3,000 still missing in action.
3,000.
I think so. I'll double check it, but yeah, I believe it's 3,000 still.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So would
sad.
you say those are y'all's two biggest?
Maybe not the biggest, but they're pretty important.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, they're not the biggest, but they're good.
Top of the
They're
list.
up there.
They're solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
So, and currently, we're talking about your events and everything. Y'all have 21 active events that are up right now. Okay. See, and I think I'm busy.
It actually, so there's 21 commemorative events.
Yes.
And then there's other events.
Amongst
So,
those, yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, it's hilarious to me because, there's only 12 months.
Yeah.
In a year. So we
But
pack
that's
them
what
in.
makes y'all so, and I think, but look, we all have busy lives, but to be able to have something where people can find a day or a time or an opportunity to participate, I think is so great.
Yeah, camaraderie is a big deal for us.
Absolutely.
For example, we're VFW is specific veterans that have been through a combat, and you have to go through eligibility.
Right.
But we've opened up our canteen area for memberships for any veteran with honorable discharge in their family, immediate family, as well as all first responders.
Yes.
Oh,
immediate
wow.
family
So
members are there as
that
well.
way they can get a membership and come in and be with people who've been through the same
Yes.
thing
You
and
can
feel
sit down and
comfortable.
relax and be comfortable
Yeah,
with.
you don't have to worry
who's
about your
around
back
them.
at the door,
Yeah.
Right.
and that's important.
Of course.
I mean,
Just
big
that
deal.
sense of security is so important.
Yeah.
What other events do you have coming up? Obviously the one for Coast of O's tonight, and that one's important.
Yes.
And then you've got another one coming up on
The 30th.
the 30th,
That's a big one.
which is
The Vietnam Veterans Welcome Home. It became a national holiday in 2017.
Yes.
And it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So last year was the 50th anniversary of Vietnam. This year it's we're at 51. Last year we had 70 Vietnam veterans come in for our event.
and even during COVID.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So we are hopeful that we'll have more than that at this event. We've got little gifts for everybody, and we have a really nice guest speaker. We'll do a pinning ceremony. We got Echo Taps, which is one of my favorites.
There'll be food available.
There will be food.
And this is open to the public.
Yes, ma'am.
On the 30th.
Yes.
On the 30th. Doors open at 5, and the event starts at 6.
Okay.
And y'all better be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's, again, we talked about our Vietnam veterans when they came home and didn't get that welcome that they so dearly deserved. And,
Right.
and I know, especially with everything going on in the world today, it's a really great, smart opportunity to take advantage to say thank you every chance we
Right.
get.
And it was neat to see. I mean, I wasn't at this particular one. I was at another one up in Dallas, but it's neat to
Because she's on the State Honor Guard and super awesome.
we were requested for their particular program. But
We're going to toast Kelly real quick. because
Yeah.
she's-
thank y'all.
Yes,
Appreciate
absolutely.
you.
Yeah, she's awesome.
But it was great just to see the Vietnam veterans get together and be able to share their stories and talk about it because, they never really got to talk about it.
Yeah.
And,
The
you know,
event
explain
ended
everything.
around 7:30, and we stayed open past midnight. We're not normally open that
Yeah,
late,
right.
But we stayed open because there was a group of them sitting there sharing stories. And where were you? What I know, right?
know.
Every time. It was a beautiful thing to sit and listen to and to learn from.
Well, because you can't, I've spoken with several, and I'll even specify Vietnam veterans who are not only hesitant to share those stories, but it's a perspective. because in every story, even traumatic ones, there's always some sense of humor, right?
Absolutely.
Right?
And there
Yeah, you
and
have
humor
to.
that not everybody can understand or
Right.
get.
We're a little dark.
I don't,
Yeah, we kind of go over the edge with that.
but to be able to have that sense of comfort and security of being able to tell those stories and laugh at something off color, off the wall, whatever, because you know the other person sitting across the table is going to appreciate that. And what a sense of, I don't know, just relief on a human level that must be to have that opportunity.
Right. And I think the other thing that's really kind of neat about it is not only were they sharing stories with each other and really coming together, they were sharing their phone numbers and they were, you know, and it's one of those things that younger veterans don't really understand how much the Vietnam veterans paved the way for a lot of the benefits
Right.
we have. They came home and didn't have those benefits, and they fought
for
really
it.
hard for them. And them doing that gave us a much better VA. Stop. Much better benefits that we can take advantage of as younger veterans, and they were so mistreated that the country learned from that. And when we came home, there were crowds.
Yeah.
I mean, there were people clapping
Celebrations
at airports,
and parades,
and
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was a big deal, and
Yeah.
they never had that. And it's really something that they deserve.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things about our post is we have that helicopter out front, the
Yes.
Huey helicopter.
Uh-huh.
It's a Vietnam era helicopter. And that for them is huge because that was their lifeline back to safety. And
Wow.
the program that I was at, they actually brought a Huey in. And to see all of the veterans that were there, I mean, they would like reached out to each other because
That
was-
sound,
that was
that sound of those blades,
Yeah.
that wop wop that comes through when.
You know, and that's something, you know, as somebody that's driven by that helicopter a bazillion times and just thought, hey, it's really cool.
It's just a helicopter,
Uh,
yeah.
It's very cool to have that there, but
It's a
the
huge
impact
symbol.
that must have
Yep.
Oh, wow.
to totally.
Somebody broke the window out in it a while back, and one of our Vietnam veterans was like, "We got to get that fixed right now. That is unacceptable." And we were like, "We know. We're trying to get with the aviation. We don't know how to fix it."
Yeah.
But we were like, "I'm so sorry."
And we didn't want. We were trying to be respectful of the symbolism of it. We wanted to make sure we had the right people fixing
Right.
it that
Sure.
knew how to, do it right. Not somebody who was just going to go throw something up
I
in
know,
there
right?
and be like, "Hey, it's
P-
good."
piece of plexiglass.
Yeah,
Just there, it's fine.
exactly. It was, that one was when we're like you could see his passion and
Yeah.
his anger that somebody would do that. There was
Yes.
a sleeping bag inside.
Oh, so somebody was, yeah.
Yeah, so
And who knows? Maybe it was a Vietnam veteran.
Maybe it
that
was.
I mean,
did
it
that.
could have
Yeah,
been.
I don't know.
We don't know, but yeah, it was. Now there's a camera on it.
Yeah.
Well, warning to anybody who might be tempted.
Yes.
Do not
I mean,
miss the
got you.
helicopter.
We have had, people have stolen signs from out front and torn them up and all kinds of stuff, and it's, I mean, yeah, it's been a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs sometimes.
The
Yeah.
biggest one was the Conroe. We support Conroe
We
Police
support
Department,
Conroe
and
Police
somebody
and-
ran off with that.
Yeah, skateboarded off with that,
Yes.
and then
Skate.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had
skate-
enough. We could see that it was somebody on a skateboard. We didn't have a clear
Wow.
enough picture of faces
That's
or anything, but
It
yes.
was.
That's
I
interesting.
mean, and like, why would you do that? Why would you just steal a sign? It wasn't free.
I know.
Like, it was expensive. But yeah, I mean, people do the weirdest stuff. I'm just like vandalizing the park.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people like it was a Pokemon spot, a Poke stop
Oh,
for
yeah.
a while, and I had to
Right.
get that canceled because there was trash everywhere. So I had to go
That
back
was
and
bad.
forth with the Pokemon people. Yeah.
Well, they wanted to get so it's chained off,
Right.
And they want to get under the chains, or they want to sit on the chains, and
They
they were
sit
breaking
inside
the
and-
chains from the barrier.
Yeah. Like all the
ridiculous.
concrete got jacked up.
See,
We were like, stop.
just more things that y'all need funding for.
Yeah, but I mean, we fixed it now.
Yes, we took care of it. We managed to take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just an example of, the kind of crazy.
Well, and the lack of character in people these days is
Yes.
all walks of
Right.
life, and to have it disrespected to the veterans seems even worse.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, that's
People
one of
just
the
don't know.
reasons why we try to educate the youth. So, like, our honor guard's gone in and taught the 13 folds of the flag and what each fold means. They've gone in And I mean, they do everything. Our honor guard's amazing. They're the ones that hang the flags on the bridge,
Yes.
you know,
Yep.
on holidays.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we're very grateful for those amazing men and women that have taken that mantle. And I just didn't get it out of my mouth yet. But yeah, we have an amazing team, and we're really proud of them because they do a lot to help educate as well. And I mean, you got to have it so you don't have people. See, I didn't say it. Jake. People take off with your signs. So,
Hoodlums.
Donkeys.
There you go.
donkeys.
Well, and getting, I know talking to my kids, and I'm sure y'all are having similar conversation situations. Our kids are getting so much of their news through TikTok, which I think is really interesting that the White House contacted these social media influencers and had a conference. But I digress. But and it's like they're interested, but because I think of their, we've gone through COVID, we've gone through so much. They don't understand exactly what's going on. They don't know the history. I'm no history expert on what's going on with, Russia and Ukraine and the Soviet Union and what Putin's got up his sleeve and all this other stuff that's going on.
Not sure many people are really convinced what Putin's got up his sleeve.
But to give these kids kind of an understanding, we can't make them understand that, but you have these veterans who are resources of history, who can tell it from that perspective and why it's so important to not only have patriotism and to know your history, but to be willing to act and to lead and to volunteer and to serve your country.
Right.
And I can only imagine from you guys the challenge that you see in getting these younger generations that seem so detached from patriotism, that it's got to be so frustrating, but also like one of your biggest missions.
Right. So for us, educating everyone is huge. I mean, it's a big part of what we do. And like our scholarship program, we have 6th through 8th grade scholarship, and then we have 8th through 12th grade. And I was thinking it would be so cool because we have our award ceremony and we have, our winner say their speech, because the high school scholarship, it's called Voice of Democracy. So they have to record themselves, and it's really an amazing topic that they're given.
When do y'all do this?
It starts, like, we'll put out the topic around end of June.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we have deadlines October 31st.
Yeah. Okay.
And my thought was we should have the kids put that on TikTok, like when they read it.
Absolutely.
And like not ours, because we don't have one. We're not as savvy on TikTok. But we can put it on Facebook and Instagram.
You mean Biden and Kamala have something on you guys technologically?
They do.
That's it.
It'd be
We've
nice
gotta
to
make a
do
change.
it.
Come up with some dances.
We need to step it up.
Yeah.
For real.
These kids are awesome. I mean, I think about when I was in high school, I never
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
performed at
I mean,
this
I
level
was
that they're at.
patriotic, but
And
not that.
Yeah. How old were y'all whenever y'all joined?
I was 20.
the military,
18. 18. And branches of service for people that don't know you.
Army.
Air Force.
Would you do it any different?
Hey, watch your mouth. Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I might have done Air Force. If
See?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. She tells me that all the time. No, I would not change anything. I
She wouldn't be who
learned
she
so
is
much.
today,
Yeah, I was gonna
which is an
say.
amazing person.
Yeah.
Aw,
Aww.
sweet. Cheesy, but so.
Right?
So for the youth that are out there listening, I mean, given the state of the world right now, I mean, obviously leadership and patriotism is more important than ever, I think. How do you get through to them?
That's tough.
I mean, other than shake them and beat them with a bat, because
Right.
sometimes that's necessary.
Right.
I mean, it starts more at home with the parents. And
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm a little biased, but the school my kids go to, Padea, they assign this scholarship to every kid has to do it in high
That's
school.
awesome.
So, yeah, so it's pretty neat because that part of, the patriotism and education, they're so plugged in and engaged. We have a history teacher down at McCullough. She's fantastic, and she encourages it really, really well. But I have, I've told them turn those into the Woodlands Post because it's closer.
Yeah.
But just if we could get the schools and teachers on board. I mean, I emailed every single superintendent and counselor and everything, and I got, I think, 2 from public school around here.
Wow.
We've got one little school that we've teamed up with, and they're kind of
Yes.
starting them young, and they're so cute.
I
It's the
know.
Primrose School
Yeah.
over here,
Yep.
and they did their little parade for
Yes.
us, and it was so cute. They had their little flags and
'Cause they're
their
littles.
Yes,
And they even
it
brought
all
the
has to
babies through in their car.
Yes, in their cribs and stuff. They were
That's
pushing them through.
awesome.
So I mean,
Yes.
starting them like that to get them
Yes.
to understand.
Yeah,
has
that's
to
an
begin that
amazing
young.
partnership. We're really proud of them. They helped us with our coat and hat drive.
Yes.
Like right now, we're doing a food drive. So,
Food drive.
yeah,
Okay.
food drive. Hit us up with all you can.
Okay.
Goods.
What a great time of year to do it, because nobody does it this time of year.
Right. It's always around Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
of
like
course,
that.
of
So,
course.
yeah, we're excited. The deadline's July 31st for
Okay.
that. But
Writing that down too. I'm taking notes. Like y'all made me take notes today.
well,
Okay.
that's how we roll.
I know.
We've got a lot of info.
I know. Always.
So after your Vietnam homecoming, what's the next event? When is it?
April 6th is...
Oh, my Lord.
I know, right? Right around the corner. That's also our next meeting, just for any members that are listening.
We
That's
will
our
have,
nominations.
Yeah,
and
nominations and elections.
Oh,
that
big time.
particular
April
meeting.
6th.
So
Yeah.
be there, be square.
Yes, don't miss that.
Show your
the
face.
next one, because I can't remember all of them. April 6th is Somalia, Operation Restore Hope. May 5th is Loyalty Day. One of my favorites is May 18th. That's Victory Over Europe for World War II.
Her grandfather, great grandfather,
Wow.
My
grandfather.
I bring in a lot of I don't bring in the Luger he stole off somebody because I don't want anyone going crazy. But I bring in like flags that he has, newspapers, pictures, all that stuff that he brought home, his letters. I'm actually
The letters are so neat to read.
know. I started writing a book about it, and then my scanner broke, so scanning the pictures. So now I need a new scanner. and-
You can use
Yeah.
mine anytime you want.
I might take you up
Yeah,
on that.
anytime.
But-
Anytime.
And that one's near and dear to me. That one's a big one.
Well, and I think it's something that we all need to be paying attention to right now with what's going over in Europe. And I know that in a lot of ways that has to affect not only you guys, but also all the members of all the VFWs across all the veterans in the country. Does it make you on edge? I mean, does it make you more on edge seeing what's going on?
I believe so. Yeah, because you don't know what's going to happen now with the troops, the new troops that are coming in.
Yeah.
If something really does occur where the United States has to go in.
Yeah.
So I haven't watched the news since the Afghanistan issue, just because, I went to Lone Survivor Foundation retreat, and one of the things, they give you like this toolbox full of things that can help you, just little tricks and tips. And self-care is so important. And if you have something that's going to be detrimental to your health or trigger something,
away from it.
then
Absolutely.
you don't want to totally have avoidance, but smart avoidance. And so, that's just something I realized wasn't that important in my life because it was causing so much stress. I think a lot of people are on edge. Our first of the 158
I was just gonna mention them.
aviation. Yeah, go ahead.
They're over in Kuwait right now. So, and we are actually getting some care packages together for them.
Okay. So
Give
another way for people to get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of a taste
Yeah.
of Texas going to them.
Yeah,
from
put a bunch of
Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's. Yeah.
From
That's
Buc-ee's.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
because
cool.
you
Very,
always
very
get
cool.
the same
Yeah.
old thing.
Sure.
And so that was a great idea when they came
Yeah,
up
they
with
had
that
an
one.
amazing idea by
Yeah.
doing that little taste
were-
of Texas
yeah.
for them.
That's very
That
cool.
was cool.
So can people donate to that? Can they help put those packages
Sure.
together? Can
We
they-
have 15 together
Right.
so far, and the lady in McCullough, that history teacher, has her kids do cards to all of them, and then we have drawings to put in them,
Yep.
letters from
The
Rich
donors.
Sproba is one of the big donors. He got some of his clients and stuff to donate. So we matched to take care of like postage and some of the some of the stuff. And he
So
did
huge
his own
thank you to
practice.
them, by the way.
I
Yes.
did
Thank
not
you,
know,
thank you.
and I know the Sprobas. They're Aggies too.
Yes, yes, they are.
But such wonderful supporters of the community. But I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, he.
They don't toot their own horns. Either,
No,
so.
not at all. I was gonna say I had to shout him out because
Yeah.
he never will shout himself out,
Yeah.
like ever.
Right.
Wow. But I think about all of the different organizations and youth groups, and there are so many groups out there that, number one, need to be taught a few things, but number two, can find really
You guys could have great partners, and I mean, new-
tangible
Yes.
ways to get
Yeah.
involved.
And we've tried with a lot of them. Like the
Sure.
ROTC at high schools never responded to a single email.
Ah.
And we have ROTC awards and
Yeah.
stuff, and we're like,
really,
come on.
I know that at Willis, our Air Force JROTC,
Right.
I can never get all the letters out
Yeah.
at one time.
Take a breath.
But they, but they're, as active as they are in the community, I'm really surprised.
I'll reach out to them.
Please do.
because that's a big one.
Yeah.
We would love to award our
Well,
JROTC.
I want to say thank you guys very much, and we don't need to do this every 2 years. We need to do this like twice a year, okay? Because you guys have so much going on. If we don't put it out there, and somebody doesn't look at the VFW page on Facebook every third day,
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
they're not going to be able to keep up with
right.
it all. And we of course are always happy to. And do we have anything else going on in town? Because we're just about out of time.
We are just about out of time. No, I mean, we've got the Conroe municipal elections coming up.
Right.
There are lots of different candidates having events coming up. Make sure that you're checking on the calendar because, like y'all were saying, make it a point to get to know these candidates. Go out and see their events. Go introduce yourselves. Get to know who you're voting for because these are important issues that we're all dealing with on a daily basis. That's the biggest thing.
Okay. Well,
And then the Montgomery County Fair and Rodeo. It's
Oh,
a little
yeah,
thing
it's a
coming up.
little
Right.
minor
Little
thing.
tiny
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
Are you going to be out there, Christy?
Yeah, I'm just going to take a cot.
I may as
I
well
know.
too.
Exactly.
We used to take a
kids.
camper. It's just
We
easier.
lose our husbands at that time.
Yes, it's since I was a kid, it's like the biggest week of the year, and now
Right.
that the kids are older and we have 15 fair entries to get ready, and my daughter's running for fair queen, and we and then my son's playing baseball, and she's got track in the middle of it. It's just like I just don't even know.
I feel like they're going to outgrow their space out there too. It's
Yeah.
getting so big.
Oh,
so
it's
much bigger.
huge. And it's so
is.
great, to see kids from all over the community come together and be able to get involved. But
Absolutely.
anyway, guys, thank y'all so much
Thank
for being here.
you.
We
Thank
love
you.
you
We
guys.
appreciate it.
We're
Thank
going to do
y'all.
fun
This
stuff
is-
together.
All right,
You guys
let's
are
do
amazing.
it.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Make sure in the meantime that you're tuning in every Wednesday at noon, right here on Lone Star Community Radio or the Moxie Innovative Facebook page, and tune in for Toast the Town. Ladies, y'all definitely are the best here in this community. Thank you so much. We'll see y'all next
Y'all are
week.
awesome.